Hey, this is Deja with Knit and Crochet everafter.com. Today we're going to do this funky, easy rib. Reason it's funky is because it's kind of almost like a moss stitch in between the actual ribs. So it's not quite a traditional rib. Super easy to stitch repeat. So I'm going to tell you more about it after we're done. But in the meantime, we're going to get started. Download the pattern from the link below. And here we go. I worked a few rows. I've done 4 total rows. This is an easy 2-row repeat. And you're going to cast on with a multiple of 4 plus 1. So however wide you want it, times it by 4, and then add 1 more for your cast on. So let's begin our row 1 repeat. So we're going to knit 1, and then the repeat begins, and it's a knit 1, purl 1, knit 2. So again, we got knit 1, purl 1, knit 2, and you just go across all the way to the end, and it ends with that repeat. Then for row 2, our final row, very easy. Just make sure you keep track because they are different. If you don't keep track, you will not keep your ribs in the right spot. But for row 2, you're going to do a purl 1, and it's actually the repeat's going to start right now, so a purl 1 and knit 3. Again, the repeat is purl 1, knit 3, and you'll end up with 1 stitch at the very end, and you're going to purl that last stitch. So very easy 2-row repeat. Just make sure you're marking it off where you're at. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 2. You should get these stockinette lines lining up as you're working. So if those are not lining up, you probably are doing the wrong row at that time. So just frog that row out and switch to your other row if you're not keeping track well. And I wanted to point out, I'm using this yarn because it's large so you can see the stitches easier, how I'm working them. But you'll notice that the fabric is not great. It is not very good stitch definition because of how this yarn is made. It's not horrible, you know, it'll just look very chunky, but it's not giving you, get my sample, it's not giving you the same kind of definition as a more smooth yarn. Light colored yarn is best to get these stitches showing up well as a solid color. If you're using like a speckled yarn, it's probably going to get very muddled and you're not going to see how interesting these ribs are, so definitely think about that when you're picking what yarn to use. But you can see it's not horrible, it's just a different look. So totally up to you what kind of yarn you use, but just light colored is probably going to be your best choice. It's a great reversible fabric. I love fabrics that you can make a scarf out of and not have to worry about which side is showing. This is not as stretchy as a normal rib, but it is still quite stretchy. Once it stretches out, you'll notice that kind of the ribs get lost, so if you are using this for a beanie or something, give it enough room where it's not going to stretch completely out, because it doesn't really look as cool once you get that completely stretched out. Try to make your gauge where your ribs are really staying intact, and because it's reversible, it can be a brim beanie and still look very cool. So that is the funky easy rib. This is Deja with Knit and Crochet everafter.com, and thank you for watching.